Welcome back, everyone, to week 38, where on multiple fronts, the theme for the week seems to be getting ahead of ourselves. And I'll talk about that a bit and have the three picks and say something else about that and just a quick wrap up. Now, for a number of weeks, I've kind of been saying that the gold equities, the stocks, the miners, haven't been really believing in the move of gold. And I've been saying that because if you look at the leverage that they should have to gold and the way the gold price has moved up, they've actually been getting cheaper as the price of gold has moved up. So they haven't been believing. Now, last week, the opposite happened. The price of gold was where it was ahead of the equities, it kind of didn't move, and the equities caught up. And one could argue, if you look at the action on in the middle of the week, where the equities were rocketing higher and expecting gold to maybe break even higher, which it almost did, but didn't. And then they moved back late in the week. But the point is, something snapped and the equities decided all of a sudden that they were going to believe that the price of gold moving, well, let's say past 1350 was a real move. And so they're starting to believe, and now we'll see if they're right. We'll see if the price of gold moves higher, or we'll see if it goes nowhere for a decade. Anything's possible. The other thing, two other things. One's kind of a joke. If you look around the gold financing space, you'll see it looks like Eric Sprott, who's a big, well, billionaire from investing in mainly gold, and he has Sprott also. But um, it kind of looks like he FOMO'd. Well, not really, but he just financed a whole, he's just been financing a whole number of different equities. And so obviously he's um, bullish on gold. Well, he always is, but even more so maybe because just look around the financing, you'll see the name. And the other thing on the precious metal space is it looks like silver finally also decided it might believe in this precious metals rally. So we'll see where that goes. And normally, and when it comes to precious metals rallies, silver is the beta play. So we'll see if that holds true this time. And now for uranium. Now, this is a bit, I don't know, embarrassing? Not really, but before the 232 resolution, I thought if the resolution comes, there's going to be a delay. There won't be an immediate price action. The price won't jump and the equities won't start flying. And then on the day of and the days following, the price shot up and I was faked out. I'll admit it. I was like, here we go. The price is about to be gone. Buy every, well, not buy everything, but like get your last minute buying in. I didn't actually throw tons of money in at all. I just, on my mental process when doing this video last week was uranium, now or never. And obviously I got suckered into um, the thought process, which was obviously wrong because well, the equities hadn't moved, but the spot price had, and I'm like, okay, well, they're missing something, and here we go. Was not the case. The spot price moved back down. The equities, some moved lower, some have been holding in. And I'll admit, it took me till Friday. Friday, I added to a few positions that I have. Um, and I want to have the ability to continue buying because I see it's always possible for things to move lower, and there are a few that concern me, I guess I could say, in terms of what they're looking like in the near term. So I did buy a few, and I look at them, and I just look at the valuations, and I look at where I think the price of uranium's going, and I'm like, there's 6 of these things that I'm just thinking like, give me enough time and I will buy every share at this price. But obviously that won't happen, time and money wise. But the point is, I want to have the ability to keep buying over until this move happens. And what I have, again, scripted out, but I need to narrate, and hopefully we'll do that at some point this week, is a look at what happens if the price of uranium doesn't go higher for, I don't know, 18 months or whatever. I'll look through that scenario and see what happens. And the only other thing I want to say about uranium and what may have caused the mood shift this week is on Monday, Cameco just got hammered because there was a dispute that they thought, my understanding was that they were going to win this dispute, and they did win the dispute. But the problem is they were asking for a neighborhood of $700 million, I think. 400 or 700, some hundreds of millions of dollars, and they ended up winning but getting $40 million, which was quite disappointing because if you consider the difference between that and what they could have got is maybe 10% of their market cap. So that's a big drop, and you saw that 10% drop on Monday, and it looked like at the time that all of the uranium equities were very disappointed that Cameco did not get enough money to buy them out at a huge premium, and hence the turn in sentiment. So, more keys to the week. The debate, the endless debate, seems to be raging on despite me being rather convinced it was over. If 25 basis point rate cut or 50, we're going to get 25, but people love discussing things. I obviously could be wrong, but we'll see. Iran causing more trouble in the Strait of Hormuz, seizing a British tanker. Yeah, price of oil is surprisingly tame given all the nonsense out of there. So we'll have to see where that goes. Geopolitical risk and oil are strongly associated, even though there's big production, well, really in many parts of the world and a lot of different issues everywhere. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Again, I don't have a strong near-term view of which way oil's going. I think it probably should dip lower before eventually finding its way higher. But if you were to say it's going higher now, I wouldn't fight you. I haven't been looking close enough to be an expert or anything close. So we'll see how that goes. And the last key to the week, I guess you could call it, or not really to the week, but it is amazing how the economic conditions around the globe can seemingly so slowly and so lengthily deteriorate, I guess you could say, without the S&P caring. Now, whether that's again due to cheaper money on the horizon or some type of safety trade, it's anyone's debate. But we'll have to see where that goes. And for now, it seems to be fighting to make new highs. And we'll have to see if that keeps going or if that fades out in the coming weeks. But anyway, we don't really have any stocks in the S&P, well, in this portfolio here, and that is what I will be getting to. Now, a few people have pointed out that I don't always seem super enthusiastic about this particular video. And I'll be honest, there's two reasons that sometimes drain me. One is that the timing. I normally do this Sunday night, which is peak tired me. And the other is that I sometimes find it challenging or draining to be forced into picking stocks on command. And this week's a perfect example of kind of all week I had some stock in mind for like, oh, I could talk about this one. It could be one of my three. And then on Friday, it jumped 11%, and I'm like, I'm not going to chase this. Eh, eh. And last week I also kind of mentioned, and I'm not making forward-looking predictions anymore with what I will pick or what I won't pick, because last week I said no more 3 of uranium, and then what did uranium do? But it got so much cheaper in a week. So that's my mini rant of why I am not always super thrilled about putting myself in a position to have to pick 3 stocks on a given day on command and have to pick 3. But that's my mini rant about that. And here is the 3 stocks. So as for the picks, the first pick is going to be a returnee from a while ago that has sort of slid, and we're not piling into it at this point because it's still quite speculative, and we still are looking to see what the results look like and down the line, and we'll see how that goes. But Verde Agritech, the thing is, when you're trading at like less than 1% of NAV or net present value and on a low cost operation, there's a lot of room for disappointment before failure, if you understand what I'm saying. So even though based on how the stock's trading, I don't think that things are necessarily going perfectly. 1% of NAV, there's a lot of room for letdown and still success. Okay, and the next pick is Bannerman. Now it went up to, I don't know, about 4 cents, and now it's back to 3.4 on some uranium disappointment. It's a big deposit. It's a proven deposit. And if the question is price to get this deposit into production, I think the answer will eventually be yes. So there's that. And lastly, I was going to do my new stock, but we'll save that hopefully for next week. Hopefully it'll come back down. And for this week, we'll be glad to add UEC, which didn't make a new low based from the Friday before, but went lower this week than than it closed at on the Friday. So we'll see where the U.S. utilities settle in. They could go, or not utilities, where the U.S. producers settle in. They could go lower. They didn't seem to bounce back vigorously. But I think they're cheap long term, and the low could be. And I kind of expected a more give uppy Monday, which we didn't get. We had a lot of hope on Monday, so we'll see. But this price is a price where we'll add. So that's that. Those are the picks for the week. So that's it for today. As I mentioned, I have a uranium-based video kind of waiting to be narrated when I have a few seconds. I need to finish up a few things first. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or anything to say or comment on, please feel free. And from that, until the next video, I hope everyone has a great time. Enjoy. As always, everyone, please do your own research before making any investment decisions. This channel shall not be liable for any losses incurred from investment decisions made as a result of information obtained on this channel. Good luck with your investments. I'll catch you next time.